As an Australian, I had mixed feelings toward Michael and Danny Phillipou's directorial debut Talk to Me. The movie failed to treat its horror like a tangible, realistic threat, and as a personal note, there were a little too many mates thrown around. Maybe it's just me, but I watch movies to escape my reality, not to step into an alternate version of them. So I'd be lying if I said I had high hopes going into this second horror, Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back stars Billy Barrett and Sora Wong, two names which mean nothing in the cinematic landscape. The movie does also star The Shape of Water's Sally Hawkins, and I suppose it's a slight source of national pride to see two Aussie filmmakers go from an entirely unknown cast in their debut film to pulling in an Academy Award nominee in a major role. Horror, like any defined film genre, only has so many tropes you can pull from. The haunted house, the slasher monster. This movie is about two foster kids who move in with a new foster mother, which checks off the moving into a new home trope, and the two kids begin to suspect that there might be some sort of a nefarious ritual at play, which checks off the ritual trope, as the mother begins to exhibit some pretty strange and nefarious behavior. I could get into it more, but horror more than any genre is one that thrives on surprise. I mean, maybe whodunits, but you get the point. And I would hate to be the one to spoil any horror movie, but I would especially hate to be the one to spoil a modern horror classic. I am sorry, Michael and Danny Phillipou, I was not familiar with your game. And by your game, I mean your ability to deliver a stone-cold, near-modern masterpiece. A movie that is admirable in its pursuit of being utterly unpleasant and horrific. One that delivers masterfully crafted visuals which will etch themselves into your mind, invading the brightest parts of your brain and turning them into the darkest corners. If you're tired of the overly polished aesthetic of modern blockbusters, likes of the Avengers, this movie right here is just for you. The visuals are gritty, bleak, and most importantly, full of meaning. This film uses visual motifs in a way that modern horror films rarely ever do, taking something as simple as a circle and using it to say something about grief. Visuals only work so well, not only because they would make for great wallpaper material, because let's face it, some of these images would probably end you up on a watch list. The images are horrific because they touch on real life horrors, the all-encompassing nature of grief, how loss can turn an average person into a monster. The movie forces you to confront horrifying real-life truths, made all the more plausible through the force of Sally Hawkins' chilling performance. Now, I love Sally Hawkins as much as the next guy. She brings a warmth and a pathos to everything she does, whether it's Paddington or The Shape of Water, all the way to a bit-sized role in Wonka. But this is one of those performances that leaves you thinking, I had no idea this actor had this within them. Gone is the empathy of a Paddington character or the romance in The Shape of Water. Here she brings to life a portrait of a chilling, terrifying woman whose humanity has been eroded by grief. Yet somehow, despite playing a pretty despicable character, she still manages to portray her with so much heart that you can't help but want to see her happy. And that's a crazy feat for any actor to pull off. There used to be a not so silently accepted truth among film fans that child actors just suck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But through such performances as Angourie Rice in The Nice Guys and Jacob Tremblay in Room, the tide started to shift. And though the kids here are a little older than those, I'm still impressed at just how well they portray their roles, considering their non-existent resumes. The main character reminded me of some of the Aussies I went to school with, and I mean that in an endearing way, and not in a haha aren't Aussies so funny kind of way, which is admittedly the route they went with Talk to Me. But if Talk to Me was a promising horror debut which relied on cheap thrills, Bring Her Back is a character study, one which uses the horror vehicle to say some pretty important things about grief. It's not the final destination breed of horror which will leave you laughing at each kill. This is a confounding, chilling horror film that gets under your skin. The entire theater was quiet by the time the movie ended. A girl hugged her friend outside the movies and told her how much she loves her, cause that's the type of impact this movie has on its audiences. If Talk to Me was a promise-filled debut album from a pop star, then Bring Her Back is a maturation of their sound. Bring Her Back might have been the debut, but this right here is the arrival. Any movie which makes my eyes well with tears is a good one, and for that, I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for weekly TV and movie reviews. And if you've had the chance to watch Talk to Me, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. I'm Cinemike, and I'll see you next time.